Hi, this is BritSimon. I want to talk to you about people getting scammed in the lottery. There are various scams that operate, and I really want to avoid you from getting caught up in those. So let's talk about that. Okay, let's talk about these scams. So there are several different types of scams that I want to tell you about in the DV lottery. There are different types, and the first type I would say is probably the easiest to spot, but some people are fooled by this scam. So the scam is basically telling you you've won the lottery and giving you some sort of winning letter or a notification of some way saying, good news, you won the lottery, but the whole thing is fake. I received a letter from someone just recently, an email from someone who had received one of these notifications, and the notification it sounded somewhat official. They're designed to look and sound reasonable. They mentioned the DV 2020, you've won DV 2020, etc. It sounds reasonable. They ask for the winner, to pay a fee up front. Now that fee in this particular case was set at $330, which is the exact same fee you will pay when you go for your embassy interview. So it's interesting, they chose $330 because they clearly know that someone searching for the green card fees will find that that is the correct fee. But it's not normal that someone's asking you to send the fee up front and then have your interview months later in your home country. That is not how the process works. This particular notification was signed by Stephen Miller. Some of you that watch my videos may know that Stephen Miller is the name of an advisor of Donald Trump, the President of the United States. Stephen Miller is the person that is advising Trump on all of these anti-immigration policies, is clearly not someone that's going to be sending anybody an invitation to immigrate into the country. That was obviously a sense of humor on the part of the person creating this scam. But it was one of the indications, to me at least, that was clearly a scam. And as I say, the big one being, okay, you've won, now you've got to pay. Now in general, these sort of scams are easily identified because they ask for money up front. They ask for some sort of amount of payment. There's quite a typical scam that is known worldwide as the Nigeria 482 scam, I think it is, where allegedly you've won some amount of money, or the person writing the email says something like, I have $50 million in gold, I just need somewhere safe to send it, kind of thing. And all you need to do is to send $10,000 and then we'll send you the 10 million in gold, or whatever it is nonsense. And I'm amazed that people fall for it, but they clearly do. There are some naive and easily fooled people out there. And these DV lottery scams prey on the same sort of naive people. So don't be caught by that. That's the first type of scam. Don't fall for that one. The DV lottery system, firstly, you'll know if you won it because you entered it, right? Secondly, there's only one page, there's one website where you can check that you've won that DV lottery. There's no other website where you can check that. They don't generally send emails to you to say, hey, you're a winner, although this year, for the first time, KCC have sent out a letter, an email to people that to ask for documents, and that has been an unusual step because it has alerted some people to the fact that they won the lottery. But other than that, there is not supposed to be a notification to you to say you've won the lottery. You have to go onto the website and you check with your confirmation code you check whether you're a winner or not. And if you're a winner, you'll see the confirmation letter on the government website. Okay, so that's the only legitimate place to find out if you're a winner. If your winning letter didn't come from that website because you saw it, then it's probably not true. So that's something that will alert you. You know whether you entered. You can check it online yourself, and you're not going to be asked to pay for money up front. That's clearly a red flag if you're being asked to pay for money up front. So that's the first type of lottery scam. The second type of lottery scam is really from someone who is giving you sort of fake chances. They're telling you that they have some sort of ability to predict how to get the winners, or to take your entry and make sure it's one of those that will be selected, or how to enter and you got special chances. Some sort of nonsense along those lines. I've received notification from an email from someone recently with exactly that story, and this particular person was even giving credibility to this scam artist by saying, this person in the village has told me they know a way of calculating the algorithm on how lottery winners are selected, and what amazes me, this person writes to me saying, what amazes me is how consistently accurate he's been, and how he has chosen these winners. So it's complete nonsense to start with, but the person being scammed actually adds value to the scammer's arsenal by somehow giving extra credibility, thus making more people believe the scam. That's a typical sort of scam where crowds are easily scammed, right? So if you can get people into a particular situation, and you can effectively plant people. Let's say there have been sort of church rip-offs in the past, right? Where a church has had people in the audience, in the congregation, and the pastor or the leader runs some sort of miracle, right? Cures someone who wasn't able to walk before and now can walk, or takes nails from people's feet, or from their feet, and is casting out the demons. And because the people that they're working with are helping with that scam, other people in the crowd become sort of worked up by this scam, and they believe it even more, and so everybody in the congregation really believes they've just seen a miracle and they've seen a wonderful thing, and so this pastor is an amazing person. I mean, it's nonsense. Really, that should be easy to spot, and there are some DV lottery scams in the same way, where someone suggests that they have some sort of superpower, some sort of ability to predict the winners. They don't. I don't think there's many people, perhaps not any people in the world, that know more about the DV lottery than me, other than the people that work for the government that run the lottery. I don't know of a way that you can, mark your entry in some way or do something that improves your chances. It's a random draw. So if I don't know, then I'm quite certain nobody else knows. It is nonsense. But so you've got to be smart enough to realize that when you're being told by someone they can give you special chances, you've got to be smart enough to know that that's nonsense. Oh, and by the way, of course, that person offering to give you the special chance will obviously want upfront payment as well. And again, that's another clue that things are not as they seem. I suppose the third type of scam that I want to warn people about is agents that are unscrupulous. So there are agents that are helping people around the world enter during the lottery period. And I'll come on to the real official lottery period in a minute, but there are agents out there that will help you enter the lottery. Really, I don't know why people use those agents, because the lottery entry process is extremely simple. It's a 5 or 10 minute job to enter the lottery. It doesn't take long. It's simple. There's only 10, 15 questions or something, and they're about you. If you don't know these questions about you, then why would you trust a third party, an agent, to know more about you than you know? I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. But there are some people that insist on using agents. Now, when you do that, you give all of your personal information and power over you to some third party, to some agent, okay? Now, there are countries I know where the agents are generally decent, honest people, and they are simply helping, maybe for a few dollars, they're helping someone enter their DV lottery entry. Fine, I have no problem with that. But that agent that you've just given your details to, and you gave your photo to, and you gave your passport details to, and everything else, they now have lots of information about you, and they can enter for you in some other year. They can do goodness knows not what with that information. Why would you give them that power over you? And here's what then happens in a lot of cases. So an agent will collect the information, do the entries, and based on the number of winners that they have, they will then go to their winners and say, good news, you're a winner, now you have to pay me more money because I've got your winning entry. They haven't given you the details you need to check your own entry. They're going to check for you, and they're going to ask you for more money when they know you're a winner, right? They'll either ask you for more money, or they'll ask you to marry their sister-in-law, or some friend of the family, or something, to have a fraudulent marriage so that person can get a green card as well. And they're able to hold this power over you because you gave it to them. You gave it to them when you gave them all of your details. So don't do that. I mean, it is just really not necessary. It's unimaginably daft to do that, to give someone that power over you, and to take this life-changing, wonderful event and make it into a curse. And that's exactly what some people have done. In some of the poorest countries of the world, people have been asked for thousands of dollars to go through their own winning process. There are various versions of that scam. In some cases, the agents will enter for you based on entries you've given in a previous year, and they'll enter for you, and that can really mess you up, because perhaps you've entered yourself this year, and perhaps some agent that you used in a previous year is now going to enter you this year, and now you've got 2 entries in your name going forward, and that is going to get you disqualified, and you'll be on a blacklist because of that. And so that's just a mess. You don't want to be having anybody else able to enter you. The other thing is that if you give an agent your photo, etc., they could go and they've got all the information they need to go and do other things with your name and your information. I mean, again, just a bad idea. They could request credit in your name, and depending on how things are set up in your country, they'll have information about you. So really, honestly, for the sake of a few minutes of your time, do your own DV lottery entry when the system is open. Now, fourth type of scam I want to tell you about. It's really questionable whether it's really a scam, but it can still mess you up. So I want to discuss this. And again, there are probably some websites in the world that are genuinely interested in helping people, enter the lottery, but nobody goes to all that trouble of creating a website where you can enter your details and it will enter for you. Nobody goes to all that trouble unless there's something in it for them. Okay, so these websites that set themselves up to collect entries throughout the year will say to you things like, they will manage your entries for you. So they will enter this year, and then sometimes you can take a package where they'll enter for you multiple years, and they'll just keep trying for you, perhaps for 3 years or 5 years or whatever you pay them for. and you pay them some amount of dollars for an entry in 1 year, and then more amount, a larger amount of money for multiple years entries. It sounds like a good idea, but it really isn't a good idea, because, for example, in this year, the DV lottery process was changed significantly by adding you needed to add the passport number. Well, on those systems where they collect your information and enter for you year after year, excuse me, on those systems, how do they keep up with those changes? And the answer is they don't. So how do you know they've even entered for you? And if they have entered for you, they've probably got an old photo. They may or may not have your passport, so they'd have to put in some nonsense about your passport. And these things will create a risk for you. And once again, just like in the agent scenario, you don't know whether they've entered for you, and if you enter yourself at the same time, you could have double entries. So again, in general, although those websites are probably not setting out to try and scam you in the same ways as the agents, they're probably not going to turn around and blackmail you in quite the same way. There is a risk of that, and there are other risks involved in using those sort of websites. So I strongly recommend you don't use those websites. So those are the ways that you can be scammed, right? Let's talk about how you avoid being scammed. Well, it's quite simple. You enter for yourself. The lottery period opens every year in October for around about a month. And the online registration process is simple, it's free. You can do it in a few minutes. You just need a little bit of preparation. You'll need, a few personal details about yourself, your full name, your passport number, information about your derivatives and their photos. Really, it's simple information, right? It'll take you a few minutes. So just plan to be able to do that in October yourself, and take the time to do that in an internet cafe or wherever you want to do that. Just do that yourself, and then at the end of that, keep your confirmation number, keep it safe. Make sure you know the email address that you used, that you registered with, because in order to retrieve your confirmation number, if you lose that, you need to know the email address and some other personal details, your full name, year of birth, that sort of thing. You can do your own entry. That means you can only enter during the month of October. It normally runs from early October to the first week or so of November. That's the entry period. If somebody is trying to enter the lottery for you, and they're suggesting that for whatever amount of money they'll enter the lottery for you outside of that entry period, it's not through the official website, and you shouldn't do that. Just enter through the single time of year when you can enter. It's a slow process anyway. You enter in October, you find out in the following May whether you're selected or not. The following October after that May, so a year after you enter, is the earliest you could possibly be interviewed, but interviews carry on for a year after that. So it could be almost 2 years after you entered before you're actually interviewed if you were a winner. And there is nothing that anybody can do to improve your chances other than not making mistakes with your entry. So I can help you with the not making mistakes thing, and I can show you how to enter, and I've produced videos on how to enter, and I'll do that every year. I'll make sure you have the information, but I do all that for free. You don't need to pay me anything for that, and so you don't need to pay anyone else to have this entirely free opportunity. So please go that way. Just watch my videos, go to my blog. You'll get all the latest information from my videos and from my blog. And when it comes time to enter, you'll be ready and you can do it yourself. You don't need anybody else's help to do that. Plan to do it that way next year, please. And in the meantime, if you're told that you're a winner, and you only have to send a few $100s to here or there or whatever, that's a scam. If somebody says they've got a special way for you to win, that's a scam. Just be a little bit clued up, use your brain, and make sure you're not victimized by these people that will take advantage of you if they can. Okay? So I hope that's helpful. I hope that helps a lot of people avoid being made victims this year. I see it every year. Every year I receive emails from people that say, I entered with this agent, I paid them a few dollars for the entry, but now they want $2,000 or $5,000 or whatever, or they're telling me that I must now marry their sister. And honestly, it makes me so sad that people are out there that need an opportunity and are being victimized in a moment that should be wonderful. On the other hand, if somebody enters for you and you're not the selectee, you have to know that if somebody just sort of enters for you with information they gathered from wherever, you have to know that there's a high chance of refusal in your case because they may have entered incorrect information on your behalf. So again, that's another reason not to use an agent. You can do it, and you take responsibility for the information you enter. You know it's right if you entered it, okay? So that really is the best way. Okay, so I think that's all I wanted to cover. Please do subscribe to my videos. There's a lot of content that I've already created. I've got hundreds of articles on my blog. I've got a frequently asked questions page on there. There's a lot of information I've got for you. And I help people with DV lottery because I'm a previous recipient of a green card through the DV lottery, and I took it upon myself to learn about the system when I went through that a few years ago. So this is how I'd like to give back, and I hope I can help you secure your green card and come and live in America. But I don't want to hear about any more of you being victimized. Okay. All right. Have a great day, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye now.